Okay, so in this section I will explain about control flow statements. So control flow statements, as I said, it will be helpful to design your logic. It will be helpful to make the flow of your program. So in your program you may need to take some decisions, you may need to uh, do some things in a repetitive way. So those are the places where these and control flow statements are required. So let's start with first one, if then. So if then is the statement where it works on if one condition is true. If say any condition is true, then what is the statement to execute? Otherwise, what is the next statement to execute? So in case of if then, some code only if true. So and it is a boolean condition. So in case of if, you will say that if one condition is met, so if condition is true, then that statement will be executed, otherwise some other statement will executed. So that is about if then and if then else. So it works on boolean condition. So if some condition is true, then one statement will be executed, or one set of execution statements will be executed. If condition is false, then some other set of statements will be executed. So in case of, if you see here, if then, it is a boolean condition again. So some code if true, other code if false. So multiple choices possible while nesting. So what you can do, in one if you can write another if condition. So let's play with if then and if then else. So let's make one new class. So that is new class. Let's take conditional statements. Writing one main method, because this is the entry point to run any class. So let's talk about first if then. So if then means, first if any condition is true, then do something. If any condition is true, then do something here. So the expression what is written here, the results of that expression should be true. So if I say boolean, what is the condition? If I say true, I can use this condition. I can use this condition in place of true, because this is the same thing. So what I want to do, if condition is true, then the condition is do something. So if you want to execute it, it is pretty much simple. It will say do something. So let's talk about some example. So let's take the month of the year from command prompt, and then try to see that, then print it is January or February or March. So for that, what we will do, let's remove everything. Let's take the value from command prompt, or say from console. So for that, there is something called a scanner sc is equal to, I will tell you about this scanner and new operator later. So the purpose of this line is to take these lines are to take the input from console. New scanner. So I will say system dot in. So I want to take from input stream. So while, sorry, I have not discussed about while, so I will not use it. So let's take integer input month equal to sc dot, I want to take integer from there. If this input month is less than or equal to 12, it means that if user is giving any input from 1 to 12, then I have to say it is valid month of year, right? And that month, input month, should be more than equal to 1, because this is a two expression. I have to do logical AND in between. So let's run it. So let's take the input 0. Nothing happened. I have to run it again because I have given 1. If I give 1, then it says valid month of the year. If you run it again and give the input as 13, nothing will happen because it is not valid. So this is about if then. So whatever statements you are, if your condition is met, then execute this one. There is situation where you have to do if then else. What happens if condition is not met? So in this case, I have to write else block. So I have to say if this condition is not met, it means that invalid month of year. Now if you print 300 something, it is invalid month of year, right? So this is the way your if then and if then else works. Right? Let's talk about switch statement. Switch statement, what it says, execute one or more of multiple choice integer, string or enum condition. So what happens, suppose you are giving a month from the input, and if it is 1, you can say that month is January. If it is 2, month is February. If it is 12, month is December. So there is a situation where you need to write multiple if else. So to avoid that kind of problem, you can use switch statements, where you can take the input and put switch statement on that, and case by case you can take the action. So let's do one example. So suppose in this one, if I say if my input month equal to 1, then it is January. If it is 2, then Feb. If it is 3, March. If it is 4, say April. So if it is 5, so if it is greater or equal to 5 and less or equal to 12, say it is a post April. So let's run it. So I have given 1. So it is valid month of year, and it is January as well. So valid month of year, that value is coming from here. So that value is valid month of year is coming because of this if condition, and if there are multiple if conditions, so based on the input it is 1, so it will become January. So let's run it again. I will give 6, it is post April. This is the valid month of year and it is post April. If I give, I am running it again. So if your Java program is running, you can see here red button, that will come. So if it is not running, then it will not be red. So if I give 13, 23, this is invalid month of year, and that is the completion of your Java program. So to avoid this multiple if condition, what we can do, we have to do something called switch statement. So here I am taking switch, what is the input? So for switch we need This is the syntax of that switch. Then we have to take the what is the input, against we have to provide the case. So if it is case is 1, what is the action? Action is January. Case so you can see that you cannot put two cases with the same value, so I'm giving 2, so it is fab. If it is case case 3, case 4, case 5, so let's talk about case 3. Then it is March. Case 4, April. Case 5 or it is say post April. So let's remove this code for as of now. I'm commenting it. Then this one also, because I want to show you about case and switch. Let's see what happens. I will run it, give 1, so it is Jan. If you give 23, nothing happens. So what will happen if I give invalid? So here you can say, so it will cover if any case doesn't gets executed. Sorry, I have to take the integer. So this month is invalid. So this is how your switch and case statement works. So the things to remember here is, when you give switch, this value should be integer. If you are using Java before 7, Java 7, you can give this one as a string also. So this value it should be your integer, or it should be string, or it should be enum. So I will tell you enum later. So right now, if you give this one as a string, so you have to say next. To say next line, because you want to use as a string, so you have to say, you have to give value as a case of string. You can interpret any other input also. This is up to programmer. So if I run this one, I want to take example as 1, so it is January. So let's take example of, say I want to say first month. So if I give 1, that is invalid. So what I need to say? I need to say first month. What happened? First month is Jan. So what if you give, say, first month, that is invalid. So here you can provide the switch and case statements on integer and string. Enum I will take you later. That could be quite early to explain about that. So let's move to the next. So we are done with switch. Now there are other 3: while, do while and for. These 3 are used when you are trying to do some operation in the repeated way. So in case of while, there is while, what happens, it will first test the condition. That condition should be Boolean. Then it will execute the statements and then repeat it. That's how while works. First test, then execute, then repeat. So what happens if I do while? So it is similar to while. The only difference is that it will first execute, then test, then repeat. So when I say test, test is always, the result of test should be Boolean. And for statement, that is kind of it is also a statement where you are trying to do where you are trying to execute few statements in the repeated way. So what it does, it must basically initialize and test it and then perform some action, then does the repeat. So for is only used when you are playing with collections, when you are iterating over the collections. I will let you know collections in later sections. So this is how your while, do while, for works. The point here to understand is when we use while, we have to do first test, then execute, then repeat. In case of do while, we will first do execute, then test, then repeat. In case of for, we will do the initialization and test, then perform the activity and then do the repeat. Let's have a example. So let's create another class, say what I want to perform. I want to learn about something where you are trying to do some action in the repeated way. So you can say, let's give any name. So let's talk about for, do, for and while. Okay, let's create main method. So let's first talk about while. So the syntax of while is while so what I need to do, while say I am giving some start, say 0, and when start, while start is equal to 5, perform so start, and then start plus plus. So in the last section I explained what is about these operators. Assignment operator, this is conditional operator, where you are trying to see that equality of start and 5, and then this is unary operator, which is trying to do the increment for the start value. It will first do the increment, then you can access it. So, and this is you will do the println will show as a string, and you do concatenation with the start value. So let's see what happens. Let's run it. So here you saw that there is no print. So what happens in the case of while, it first test is start equal to 5, because start is 0, it is not equal 5, so it will test is failed. So test will, if test fails, nothing will happen, no repetition, no execution. So let's make it another test. So start 0, that is yes, it is less than 5, so it will start executing 0 1 2 3 4 5. So it executed 6 times, because it started with 0 and it went till 5. So you can give 1, so just to print 5. So what is happening here, it is first testing, then executing, and then incrementing, so that it will repeat. What if I don't increment? So it will first test start, that is less than 5, because start is 1. It will execute, it will go again here, it will again check start, that is again still 1. So there is no end of the loop. So if you run it, it will just keep on showing so 1 and endlessly. If you see, program is still running and it is keep on printing. So to control this, we need to fail this condition. To fail this condition, because I need to do the increment on start, so that next time start will become 2, next time it will become 3. So that's why you can see a controlled way of your execution. So let's change this program a little bit. So as we saw that, let's remove this one as well. So as you see that there will be no print, because this test will fail. This is something called while. Let's do same example with do while. So while, in this case, first test, then execute and repeat. So in case of do while it is first execute, then test, and then repeat. So in this example, your start is, say, still 1. I will say do something, okay. So here I will say do something, do what, do this, so start, till when, while start equal to 5. Right? So let's comment this one, or let's not comment. What happens? So in do while, and so in while. Let's run it. If you see here, in case of while there is no print, but in case of do while there is print. While condition is still same. So in case of do while, it first executed, then test, and then repeat. So in case of do while, it first did this line, then test, and because test failed, it did not repeat. So in case of do while, there will be execution of a statement at least once, right? So in case of do while, execution will happens once, at least once, right? So what we have seen here, there is little bit difference in while and do while. Let's do one thing. Let's go back and say, here's putting the same condition, and let's increment because I don't want to run endlessly. So okay, so before that, let me tell you what this curly braces. I have already explained. Let me tell you about the block statement. So this curly braces is starts here, ends here. So whatever for this condition, condition, whatever statements I want to perform, I have to put into one curly braces. So if there is only one statement, you can avoid curly braces. So if you are not using curly braces, you can write one statement inside that condition or while loop or whatever block you want to write. So in this line, this will be one statement, this is another statement, but the scope of execution of this statement is outside of this while loop. So because here we need two statements, so we have to provide curly braces. Okay, anyway, let's go back to execution. See here, it executed two while. So here 1 2 3 4 5, and here also 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so let's understand again this curly braces concept, where you have to give one or one statement against two, and two statements. So if I say if start is let's initialize again start with 1. So if start is less than 5, I want to say sysout start, it is 1. And then I say start plus plus. Then again print start. So let's keep this one example as 2. Let's see what happens. So here start is 1, which is less than equal to 2, so the statement will execute this one. Then I'm doing a start plus plus and executing this start, again it will become 2. But the scope of this one, if I put like this, then it will become into the scope of this condition. Okay, let's put while. So what will happen? This will become 2, and it is incremented. Sorry, this will become 1. It is incremented to 2, and now it will become 2. So because it is incremented here, so it will print 2 here. Now it will become 2. 2 is still less or equal to 2. So again it will print 2. Now it is incremented and print again 3. This is how you will see the output. So the bottom line to say is, when you have set of statements to be executed in the scope of your if block or while block, else block, you have to put into the curly braces. If it is one liner statement in the scope of your while block or if block or else block, you can avoid using curly braces. The scope of that will be only one line. So let's suppose another example. Suppose while true, I want to perform nothing. So I can execute this one. So program will still keep on running, but nothing is going to happen because there is nothing to execute. So it's kind of blank execution. So there are other two terms. One is break and continue. So break and continue. Break is basically, these are required when you do the execution in loop. Loop means while loop or for loop or do while. So based on some condition you can break. So when you break the loop, it will come out of your loop, and if you say continue, it will ignore the next set of statements and go for the next level of the loop execution. Say for example, again let's start with 1. What it says, it is unreachable. Because of this, so start is equal to 1 while start less or equal to 5. So what I want, if start equal to 4, then break. So I want to print check break and continue. I'm giving the value of start. And so if I want to skip to execute this line, if start is equal to 3, then I will say continue. That is else, and this else I will print the value of start. So if you see here, I want to execute one statement in this if condition, so I did not put curly braces. If I wanted to put only one statement, so I did not put the curly braces. Same here as well, right? So my condition is that if for first start is equal to 1, it should print here. Start is equal to true, it will print. Start is equal to 3, it will skip. And if start is equal to 4, it will break. So it will not go for 5. Let's see what happens. And you have to finally increment start plus plus. Let's see what happens. So check break print for 1 and 2. For 3 it continued, so let's break for 5 so that we can print 4. What happened? It print 1, it print 2, while printing 3 it skipped, while printing 4 what happened? Let's try to debug it. So in Eclipse we can debug it also. So start is right now 1. So right now start is 1. It will print. Start become 2 here. 2 is less than 5. It's fine. So it is not equal to, it will not break. It is not 3 also. So it will print 3. It will continue. Oh, so the value of start is still 4. It did not increment. So that was the problem. So let's do one thing. Let's go back to my Java section. So let's do the increment in case of continue also, because that is needed. And here there are 2 statements, so I have to put a curly braces out of this. So, and this is unreachable because before that you said continue. So continue should happen after increment. Let's run it. So here you will see 1, 2 and 4. So this is how you can control your loop. Let's take a look at for loop. So for loop is kind of very much while, where you are doing initialization outside. So in case of for loop, you can do initialization in the loop itself, loop statement itself. So I want to say start is equal to say 1, then we have to give condition start less than equal to 5 and start plus plus. So this happened in one line. So what you can simply do, start. So you are printing here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last statement, right? So here it is initialization. Next one is condition. If there is no condition, just remove it and see, because if there is no condition, it will just keep on running your program, and you are doing just increment of a start, so it will keep on doing the increment and printing it. So to control that, you need condition. If you don't do increment, so your program will run endlessly, because your condition is always true. Okay, so this is the way you can do. Here also you can apply all the break statements and everything. So suppose you want to suppose you want to do similar kind of activities here. So here you have to take the control of when to increment. So you take out the control from that section and do control of your incrementing here or wherever you need, like here and here. So in the last statement, say in for loop, so here you will see the output. Check break in the for loop 1, 2, 3. What is happening here? Loop 1. Oh, sorry. So you are printing 1, 2 and 4. So in case of 5 you are breaking it. In case of 3 you want to continue, you want to skip it. So for skipping you are using continue, to break you are using break statement. So remember that break and continue is to break and skip in the loop. Okay, so we have covered all of control flow statements here. So let's talk about more about classes. So classes are, this is very much high level. We have told about we have one class called, say, public class here. So class are a pictorial way of object where you are defining your methods. So what we can write in the class? We can write in the class variables, and methods and static blocks and inner classes. Or in fact we can write in Java file suppose I have written this for and while.java, I can write other classes inside this Java file. So say variable, if I say int start equal to 10, okay, so if you see the color of this one start, it is with little bit blue. So the scope of this, whatever we are defining inside class, the scope of these variables are throughout the class, throughout this class. So And if you see here also I have put the start. So the scope of this start is inside this method. If I want to use the top one, I can use it like this. The problem is, I will tell you that why it is giving compilation problem later. So for as of now, you just ignore this section. So only thing you understand here is any variable, if it is defined inside the method, the scope will be till this method. If it is defined outside of this method or in class, it is applicable to throughout the class. So anything inside class, any method that can access this variable. And then we can write method. So here we are giving one method. So this is very much kind of a method which Java Virtual Machine understands when you run the program, when you run a class file. So like that, this is just a this is also a method. So you can write another method, say method, you can give any name. I have given. So this is how you can define the method. As I mentioned, this portion is called access modifier. This is your public. Then you have static. Static is always, this is optional. If you don't want to give it, is also fine. Then we have a static. This is also optional. Once you provide, the nature of method will change, but from the syntax point of view it is not optional. And then return type. Return type is must unless it is constructor. Then you have method name, that is also must because you are defining method. Then in bracket you have parameters, and parameters are optional. If you don't give parameter, it's also fine. So based on the need you can do it. So I can simply write void method like this. Okay, so this is how you can give the method, or you can give public is also okay. These are the different way. I will tell you what happens when you give like this, what happens when you give like that. So this is how you can create the method. You can provide static, or you can provide private here, or protected, whatever you want, considering that you understand your method, your program well. That's how you can proceed with the programming. So then static block also we can write inside the class. So something you can write as static here. So whatever you can do in a method, similar thing you can do here in static. So I say in static. So static block I will tell you later also. Static block is basically if you see here, I have this method has been marked as static. So static, when you load this class, the static block will be executed, and if any variable or method is marked as a static, that will be loaded as at class level. So once you run this program, you will see this static will be executed. Even if you not called in the main method, it will be executed because that is executed at loading of the class. Before running of the class, it is gets executed. So you can write your static block. You can write, in fact, your, let's put it at correct place. So inner class, you can write one inner class inner class. So the scope of this class is till this class. So anything what information you need, you can access it outside of inner class, or the scope of this inner class is inside this outer class. So and this class can be private, can be public, can be static also. So you can write those things. I will come to this point later about how to create the inner class and what is the significance of creating the inner class. So other classes inside your Java class. So what does it mean? It means that suppose you have right here class outer. So int x and say void method some method. The only thing you need to remember here is you cannot give this method as a public, because what will happen, in one Java file you can have only one public class. You can have public inner class, but you can have only one public outer class. The name of this Java file should be same as the name of the class what you have marked as a public. So other class should be non-public. This class can be, this is kind of other classes which we can use. So this class will be created in the same package. I will tell you what is the package. Package is nothing but, suppose you are having here default package, means no package. Suppose you want to create a package here, it's kind of a folder structure. So I want to create com dot, I can give any name. Generally the name what follows com is commercial, if it is commercial kind of project. And then it is a package is basically logical division of your classes. So based on the type of, based on the purpose of that kind of module, you can provide into that package. You can write your classes inside that package. So inside I will say here training, then this is for Java training and this is for basics. I created one package here, and I want to move this for and while, because this is kind of also basically all the things I can move inside this package. So I have copied here and pasted, then I can remove from here. So what will happen if you see, so this is the package, it will show here. So package is a kind of logical division of your classes. It is a kind of placement of your classes in a group, in a logical group. It will be easy to maintain when you are writing a big project or big software. At the time, packaging is very much required. One package can be depending on the other package, or you can control if one package, if you want one package to be non-accessible to other package, that one also you can control. So when you do the little bit big project, at the time you can think of this packaging concepts. I will recommend you to, whenever you are doing some coding, when you write a Java file, better you write some package so that you can easily understand what you are writing and for what you are writing, and anyone else other than you, he can also understand that what exactly you are trying to achieve by using these packages. Okay, so this is about classes, and so the accessibility of this class, as I said, it can be public. If you are not giving, it will be default. Okay, and you can give only this outer class only as a public, and you can say no default one, or you can only give abstract, and you can also give final. So these are the only access modifier. So private and abstract are only modifier. So final class is something called different. I will tell you later. So what you can mark as a public, or you can mark as a abstract class, or you can mark as a public abstract class as well. And so the purpose of abstract class is that class cannot be used, I mean that object of that class cannot be created, so that's what we use as abstract class. So the access modifier is only here public or default. Okay, so abstract, what we can do with class, we can mark as a abstract, we can also mark as a final. So I will tell you the purpose of final class, abstract class in coming videos. So for now you can understand what things you can do with how you can mark a class final, public abstract, or public abstract, or public final. Okay, so we are pretty much done with my control statements, if and else, and looping. So let's see our summary. So we have gone through operators, we understood how operators been utilized, and we understood how to do the control on the statements by using if else and loop and switch statements. Then we understood about class little bit, how class will be, what things we can put in the classes, and what kind of modifier you can use for the class, like public abstract or final or public. You cannot put outer class as a private. So these are things we have covered. So in the coming videos I will show you one exercise. So what we will do, we will take some real-time problems